Hey everyone, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and give us a like. Now let's jump into today's story. On May 14, 2008, 19-year-old Brandon Swanson left a small party in the town of Camden, Minnesota, where he had just finished his first year of college. He was in high spirits, eager to head home to Marshall, a small town about 30 miles away. The night was clear, and everything seemed like a typical drive, until Brandon found himself stuck in a ditch near the small town of Lind. Around 1:54 a.m., Brandon called his parents, sounding frustrated but not panicked. He told them he had driven his car off the road into a ditch and couldn't get out. He wasn't injured, just stuck. His father, Brian, reassured him and told him to stay where he was while they came to help. However, when they arrived at the location Brandon had described, he wasn't there. His car was there, but Brandon was nowhere to be seen. They called him again, and he answered, saying he could see the lights of Lind from where he was standing. He told them he would start walking toward the town and asked them to meet him there. For the next 47 minutes, Brandon remained on the phone with his father, calmly describing his surroundings. He mentioned that he was walking along a road and could see the lights ahead. Everything seemed fine until suddenly Brandon's voice changed. "Oh, what?" And then the call cut off. His father tried calling him back immediately, but there was no answer. Over and over, Brian Swanson tried, but the line remained silent. Terrified and unsure of what had happened, the Swansons rushed to the area. They spent hours searching by themselves before calling the police around 6 a.m. the next morning. A full-scale search effort was launched. The police immediately began scouring the area around Lind and Marshall, including a search of the Yellow Medicine River. Search dogs were brought in to help, and teams combed miles of terrain, including fields and wooded areas. They checked local rivers and lakes, hoping to find Brandon's body, as he had mentioned seeing water during his phone call. But despite the extensive efforts, no trace of him was found. One key clue in the case was Brandon's car. It was located near a gravel road about 4 miles from where he had said he was. The car was found in a ditch, but there was no sign of foul play around it. It appeared that Brandon had left the car behind and walked away. The search focused on the surrounding area, but the cold and dense terrain made it difficult to find any physical evidence of his presence. As the days turned into weeks, theories about what might have happened to Brandon began to surface. Some investigators and locals believed that Brandon had accidentally fallen into the Yellow Medicine River, which ran nearby, and drowned. But despite the efforts of search teams who scoured the riverbanks, no body or evidence was ever found in the water. Some even suggested that Brandon could have walked for miles, lost in the dark, and ended up in a more remote area, still undetected by searchers. Another popular theory was that Brandon may have encountered someone during his walk, someone who had been waiting on that isolated stretch of road. But there was no physical evidence to support this. No footprints, no signs of a struggle, and no indication that Brandon had been in any kind of altercation. A more unusual theory suggests that Brandon may have experienced a mental break or disorientation, possibly brought on by exhaustion or stress. He had been walking alone at night in unfamiliar territory, which could have caused him to become confused or even wander off into the woods or a hidden location. However, the lack of signs of a struggle or any footprints leaves this theory uncertain. Some also believe that Brandon's last words, "Oh, what?" were a sign that he had seen something terrifying, though what that might have been remains a mystery. Did he encounter someone or something that made him fear for his life? Or did something unexpected happen in those final moments on the phone with his father? Despite the intense efforts and various theories, Brandon Swanson's disappearance remains one of the most baffling cases in Minnesota's history. No one has been able to explain what happened to him that night. His family continues to hope for answers, but the case has gone cold. Theories continue to swirl, but without evidence, they remain just that. Speculation. To this day, Brandon Swanson is still missing. His family still clings to the hope that someday they will find out what really happened to their son. But the mystery of his disappearance continues to haunt those who knew him, leaving a question that has yet to be answered. What happened to Brandon Swanson on that dark, lonely night?